Question number 6, Alastair Scott.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Revenue and asks, what recent announcements has the government made around tax rules on property transactions?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Todd McLeay.
Mr Speaker, as part of Budget 2015, the Prime Minister announced additional measures to ensure that people buying and selling residential property for profit, including overseas buyers, pay their fair share of tax. The measures will take effect from the 1st of October this year, and they include buyers and sellers of property other than their main home must provide a New Zealand IRD number. Overseas people must have a New Zealand bank account to get a New Zealand IRD number, and a bright line test to tax gains from residential properties sold within 2 years of purchase, with exemptions if its seller's main home inherited or transferred in a relationship property settlement.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Alastair Scott.
To the Minister, how will the government enforce these tax rules?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Todd McLeay.
Since Budget 2010, the government has provided Inland Revenue with $33 million more for property tax compliance and enforcement. This has resulted in an extra $258 million of tax revenue, a return of $7.80 for every $1 invested. Mr Speaker, Budget 2015 provided Inland Revenue with a further $29 million for property tax compliance. This takes its total budget to $62 million over the next 5 years. This is expected to generate $420 million of additional tax. Mr Speaker, whilst it's not illegal to trade property to make a gain, property traders are subject to tax rules like everybody else.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Alastair Scott.
To the Minister, what progress has been made on these measures?
Mr.
The
Speaker.
Honourable Todd McLeay.
Mr. Speaker, good progress. Land Information Minister Louise Upston has introduced the Taxation, Land Information and Overseas Persons Information Bill on Monday of this week to the House. The bill contains measures that require buyers and sellers of property other than their main home to provide a New Zealand Inland Revenue number. It also requires non-residents to have that New Zealand bank account to get their IRD number. Mr. Speaker, I will also be releasing a public consultation document seeking views on implementing a bright line test which would make gains from the sale of residential properties sold within 2 years of purchase taxable with those exemptions. These measures will provide extra information which will help Inland Revenue detect people seeking to avoid their tax obligation, which is unfair to those who pay their fair share of tax.
Question number 7, the Honourable David Parker.
Thank you, Mr.